Welcome to our Sherrill facility, Scheffler Group USA. We produce in these factories high precision engine components and industrial products for U.S. and North American markets. We work inside the Scheffler Group in what we call SMB. SMB is Sonder Maschinenbau, and we support our Scheffler production facilities with special equipment and project needs.
We worked with SMB to create a solution, something that was going to be more effective in that position and find a different role for the operator to where we could increase that utilization.
What was most important for us is to find a system that was developed that we would not have to invest so many hours to get it off the ground. When you look at any industry, there's certain components that lend themselves really easy to picking on the fly and orientation and so forth. But when you look at some of the components that we handle, it is very challenging.
The cost savings that we see, or the return of investments that we're seeing, is less than a year. We have seen an increase in 7% of production just by having this in place. So the labor utilization and labor efficiencies have greatly increased too. We went from a 4-operator line to a 3-operator line. It's about $150,000 worth of savings annually. That's not including the productivity improvements that it made on the line.
In our application, once we have the loaded bin in position, we have the 3D sensor which scans the bin. It automatically calculates the possible patches and routes, after which the robot makes the necessary movements to place the part based on its orientation. If the part is faced up, the robot directly places it to the final location, and if it is face down, it takes it to a reorient station where it is flipped, repicked, and then placed to the final location. Once the parts are placed in the final location, it's transferred to the next cell through a conveyor. And if there are no more parts that can be picked from the bin, the system triggers a bin change sequence, and then the robot makes all the necessary movements to change the bin and continue the process with the next bin. So the setup of this system was a few simple steps, like pairing the system with the robot, aligning the 3D sensor, loading and configuring the CAD files for the tooling and the product, and then teaching the virtual environment and the bin. Once this was completed, we just had to teach the points and we could have the system running for initial trials. I had a very limited experience with programming, and I was a bit skeptical that I could get this system running within a few months. But then as I started looking at the tutorials of this and started working with the system, I realized that it wasn't that complicated and people with less experience can easily follow the steps and integrate the process.
This ActiNav system had a track record, so it wasn't starting with a blank sheet of paper. And this goes right back to modularity. You know, we can take this and plug it in somewhere else. It's proven it works.